happy Hanukkah. It is an honor and pleasure to be here. And I try to, wherever I go, try to experience something new in every place. Something unexpected. I'll be honest, when I landed last night in the airport, I come from New York. In New York, I expect to see, and I'm in the real New York where all the Hasidim are. You see Hanukkah all over the place. You know, it's action. You can't go by a store without 10,000 different types of latkes and all that. And this is all for the latkes, by the way. But I wasn't expecting to see that in San Diego. And I came at the airport. I see a big menorah in the airport. I drove here. I think just a couple blocks away. I passed by a nice, beautiful menorah. So we're talking about a community who is proud to be Jewish, and that is actually the theme of Hanukkah. I want to tell you, in this week's parsha, if you ever look at the end of the parsha, there's always a code how to remember. If any you have a Yerabal Karta, how long the parsha is. It says at the end how many psukim are in this week's parsha.
2025.
Oh, we got to learn in person there. This week's parsha is the only time that besides for saying how many psukim there are, it also says how many words there are. And ironically, it's 2025. What's the significance of 2025? Is because, obviously 2025, but a candle in Hebrew is called ner. In Hebrew, a ner means a candle. A ner, numerical value of the word ner is 250. Times 8 is 2,000. When do we start lighting the candle? On the 25th of Kislev. So 2025 is when we start spreading the light of Kislev. But I want to, back to the davening, what I felt over here, I daven in a very spiritual, extreme place in Muncie, New York. You know, you think, and I'll tell you that the davening here was more tasteful, was more patient. You see that there's people that know what butters your bread. You know what I mean? It's the davening, not when you go outside over there. This is what makes it happen. One last thought about Hanukkah. I just want to say this short story because I mentioned it in the last 10 days 100 times because the story penetrates with me. There's a great tzaddik, his name was the Chassam Sofer. The Chassam Sofer was a very intense posek, and in halachic issues, any big matter in his time he solved. So he was very engrossed in his learning. He was so engrossed in his learning that they had to set up somebody to take care of his physical needs. And remember to eat lunch, remember to eat, you know, some of us have that problem. You're going to skip the meal. So they had in Yiddish it's called a Heusbacher. A Heusbacher means, you know, a shamish. That, you know, the Chassam Sofer was very heavily engrossed in his learning. And the Heusbacher would bring a plate of food, you know, lunch, snack. All right. So one time, one of these intense learning periods, so the Heusbacher puts next to him a plate of cake and hot tea, and he said, Rebbe, make sure to have the snack, make sure to have your lunch. And he's still heavily engrossed in learning. And the Heusbacher, after 20 minutes, sees that cake and it's dripping with chocolate. I don't know what you guys have here for donuts, but in Muncie, there's donuts like, there's $9.99. I grew up, a donut was a quarter. Today it's $9.99, $10 donuts. Great. I don't know what it's spitting out gold nickels. I don't know what it is. So anyways, so the Heusbacher looks at that donut and he says, it's a pity. My Rebbe is going to be learning, and then he's going to realize a little nibble away, and the chocolate is dripping. She says, that's it, I'm going to eat it. It's so good. He makes a bracha and he eats it. 20 minutes later, when the Chassam Sofer finished learning, he looks at the plate and he sees there's no cake. So he says to the Heusbacher, what happened to the cake? So the Heusbacher, right? And he had to come up, says, Rebbe, you must have eaten it. You didn't realize it. The Chassam Sofer, it could be, you know, it could be. But 5 minutes later, he gets back to it, he says, no, something's wrong. Whether I ate the cake or not, I don't remember. Could be I ate it, could be I not ate it. But I know for sure I didn't make a bracha. And if I didn't make a bracha, I didn't eat the cake. What's the more of that story? Yeah, the gashmis, the physical part of the life. Yeah, did I eat? Did I eat? What am I wearing? What am I? That doesn't take up brain space in his life, so he doesn't remember. But he does remember if he made a bracha. And he knows he didn't make it. Because if he's making a bracha, he's fully invested there. And this is what Hanukkah is all about. Hanukkah, it says, Lahashkicham Teiresacha. So Rabbi Fratkin is going to talk about what the Yavanim, what the Greek wanted, what was their mission. But I'm going to touch on a second part. They wanted you to forget. In other words, if I stop and take a survey, what color socks are you wearing now? I don't know. Whatever came out of the garage, I don't know what color socks I put on, because it's unimportant. But if I ask you exactly something that's important in life, right? Why don't you forget things? Certainly, they say a joke. I don't know, to be recorded. How do you make sure never to forget your wife's birthday? Forget it once, right? So things that are important in your life, you don't forget. And that's what the Yavanim wanted to do. The Yavanim didn't care. You want to study Torah, study Torah. You do everything. But don't make it in such a way that it is who you are. The lahashkicham. Forget about it. Forget about it. Don't take Yiddishkeit so serious. And that's what we have to, and that's why they chose 3 mitzvahs. There's a famous Rebbe, the Leif Simcha of Ger, says that they chose 3 mitzvahs they hung on. No, Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh, and Milah. Why those 3 mitzvahs? They say because about these 3 mitzvahs, there is a pasuk that makes reference that you have to remember. We know Zachar Hashem Shabbos L'Kachay. Shabbos you have to remember. Rosh Chodesh, Shabbos is a triple header. This Shabbos is Shabbos. You're going to be in shul a long time here. It's a big kiddush. It's a triple header. It's Shabbos, it's a Rosh Chodesh, and it's Hanukkah. So, Rosh Chodesh davening, we say Zikarein L'Chulam Yiyah. It's something that you have to remember. And also bris, the mitzvah of bris. It says Zichru bris Avraham. So because these mitzvahs somehow, it has to stay with us permanently, stronger, and remember always, do it, get it done, move on. If you want to live with it, that's what the Greeks didn't want to do. And this community shows that when you're davening, you're fully invested in your davening, you sing, all different types of songs. It's good. I felt young again, even the white beard and all that. And just chazak,